Hey guys, it's Steve LaMothe here with Elevate Realty Group, and today we're going to have a little bit of fun talking about the key reasons why transactions fall out of escrow or cancel for both buyers and sellers. Now, this wastes a lot of time, energy, and money for both sides, so no one wants to go into escrow for a week or two and fall out. And what I've learned after 1,000+ transactions and many that have canceled is most of those cancellations can be solved with proper planning and execution up front. So one of the key reasons that I found that transactions fall apart is the buyer is moving too fast. Now, the market has been moving fast for 3 or 4 years, and buyers feel like they have this sense of urgency where they have to decide really fast. They may want to get other decision makers into the house and they weren't able to. So they get inside, see the house, they're in it for 5 or 10 minutes. Maybe the agent didn't do a good job of explaining the process. They submit an offer, you accept it, and then 2 or 3 days later you get a cancellation. It's seriously the worst feeling ever. There's not much that we can do about that as listing agents, but what we can do is ask the right questions, like how long has your buyer been in the market? Have they written any other offers? Those are key indicators if they're brand new to market, that there's a high risk that that buyer gets cold feet right upon acceptance and they cancel it. Number 2 is repairs. Repairs are the bane of my existence. I spend 10 to 20 hours a week negotiating repairs. So this is the number one reason that a transaction can fall out of escrow if you're a buyer and a seller. So what we do up front is we recommend that you get all of the inspections up front. That way we can identify some of those key issues that the buyers are asking for and try to rid ourselves of those issues prior to listing. We call it a certified listing. Call it whatever you want. If we do the inspections up front, take care of a lot of the minor repairs, we typically can increase the probability that we don't fall out of contract. What I've experienced in this market in 2020 is the buyers are being very aggressive asking for all repairs, meaning the whole home inspection. So we're having to work through that. The best way to get around that is just do a little legwork up front. We pay for those inspections for our clients if they need it. It's a great service level, and it helps us down the line. Many of these suggestions that I'm making right now, it's tough to make the decision up front because we don't know what will happen, but that's where you lean on our experience, where we've been through this hundreds of times, and so we want to just make decisions up front that are going to benefit us down the line when we're negotiating contracts. Key point number 3, appraisals. This has been a common issue for 2 or 3 years. The buyers are willing to pay more than what the property appraises for, and it causes deals to cancel. And it's really frustrating because ultimately, the buyer was willing to pay it, the seller was willing to accept it, but the bank is not willing to fund it. So what we typically do is sit down with our clients up front. We'll let them know what we think the top value range is of that property, and then we explain to them up front that if the appraisal comes in low, it's highly likely that we're going to have to reduce the price to the appraised value for the buyer. Most buyers aren't going to have the cash difference to pay the difference, but it's worth a shot to accept an offer at a higher price because we might get that price and everybody wins when that happens. So appraisal issues are a big reason that deals will cancel. And then emotions, number 4, my favorite. Everyone has high emotions when it comes to either buying or selling. Things are moving very quickly. You're on opposing sides. In my experience, that's why a really good agent is there in between to kind of manage those expectations, explain things properly. And the challenge is if you don't have a good agent on the other end, it makes it very difficult to know where that buyer is. Emotions outside of repairs is probably the number 2 reason that deals cancel, and it's very unpredictable. You never know how it's going to pan out, and you never know who you're really working with on the other side. What I always recommend, if emotions are high and we're in a heated negotiation, I actually think that the buyer and the seller should talk to each other and treat each other like human beings versus have a third party speaking on their behalf, because it's very confrontational, if that makes sense. Key point number 5 is people just dig in. They're unwilling to make any further concessions. If the buyer's asking for too much, the seller just says, that's it. That's all I'm willing to give that buyer. and everyone agrees that they're unwilling to move. And that's when I give a final last-ditch effort to start throwing my money around and offering concessions from our commissions, or we negotiate with the agent. Whatever we can do to keep the deal together to make sure that everyone reaches their goal. Keep in mind, we're all working towards the same goal. The seller wants to move, the buyer wants to move into the house, and the goal is to keep that deal together. The great news is, at Elevate Realty Group, our success rate from acceptance to actually closing is 95%. So because of our experience, we do a lot of legwork up front. We have a very high success rate. Again, it costs thousands of dollars for both sides if the deal cancels, because the buyer spends $500 to $1,000 on inspections. The seller has to carry the home and make their mortgage payment and their utility payments. No one wants to cancel. Everyone's fearful and asks the question, well, what happens if we cancel? Or what happens if the buyer submits an offer and then they cancel? I wanted to shoot a quick video on the top 5 reasons why a deal could fall out of escrow once you've accepted an offer. As always, call me personally at 916-862-5463. If you've been considering selling, now is a fantastic time. Interest rates are down in the 2s. We just hit a 3% average 30-year fix, which is unheard of. Most of our homes are selling with multiple offers very quickly. It's a fantastic time to sell. If you know someone that's looking to move, share this with them, because this will educate them prior to the process and make it a little bit smoother, a little bit easier. As always, visit our website at www.homesbyelevate.com. We hope that you guys have a great week. Thank you so much.